Well, hello, my friends. I cannot believe it's Thursday. It's so many things. Sometimes I can't believe. I can't believe it's Thursday. I can't believe it's the end of the month. It's a holiday weekend. I can't believe my baby will be 25 tomorrow. Not going to spend it with her. I usually spend, because it is a holiday, I usually spend um, all of her birthdays with her. And she said to me today, Mom, I'm not going to have my door, plastered with, I decorate their doors. That's what I did growing up. And they're so much fun. I've continued to do that. If they are home or if they're in town, then when they wake up in the morning, their door is decorated. So I can't believe 25 years ago, I had this kid in Cincinnati. I was living in Cincinnati at the time. And I can't believe that I have one of my little friends graduating from high school today. And it truly takes a village. So I had so much support when my three were growing up and graduating from kindergarten and elementary school and middle school and high school and college. Now I have one about to go to med school, crazy. But it does take a village. And now I am supporting some of my friends whose kids are graduating and going off to school. So this week on the Shine Radiant Wrap, I wanted to share, I'm saying it like it's a show or something. It's really not. It was just a commitment that I made at the beginning of the year to share and have a very specific time that I go live to overcome the fear of judgment and going live and sharing some of the knowledge that in wellness I've been pouring into or having others pour into me, and with several certifications for the last 20 years and giving back. And that was a commitment that I made. And I thought, it's the least that I could do. So that's why every Thursday, I got a little bit of Radiant Wrap. And today, I want to share imagining good health. It's more than just a cliche to say, you got to see it to believe it. And it dawned on me that I had not, in my classes and with my clients, I had not been sharing that lately, reminding my clients, reminding my students to imagine themselves doing something even when they're not able to do it. And it's not just true. This is scientific. It's not just true when you're exercising or working out. And one of the things that turns me on about wellness is when science and spirituality dissect, and mental health, how it all comes together. And that's a whole purpose of shining radiantly. The radiant are the things that I feel that have to, I know, believe and know, have to come together for you to be healthy and whole. And so that radiant is an acronym for it. So whether it's from a stroke, or from an injury, whether it is something that you want to accomplish, is there something right now that you cannot accomplish that you would like to accomplish? And if there is, put it in the chat. Share that, what that thing is. And what I'm encouraging you to do is, if you're in a class, or if you are, say, you are suffering from some injury and you cannot squeeze your hand, that you practice in your mind squeezing your hand. If you cannot do a push-up, that's one of the things that's really hard in the yoga classes, is going from a plank, a full plank, to a chaturanga, that's a hover, right? And that's getting low to the ground and bending your elbows. It's something that is really hard to do. So you go from doing it on your knees to doing a full one. And if you can't do that, you can use a chair. And if you can't do that, you can use a wall, a countertop. And I've demonstrated those different ways of doing that. But in the meantime, I encourage you to see in your mind's eye yourself performing the act of what it is you want to accomplish. I promise you it works, and you can look it up. It's scientific. You can create the same neurological pathways in your brain by envisioning, imagining, seeing yourself doing a particular activity. It creates the same neurological connections as though you were actually doing it. And there's all kinds of studies, all kinds of research that prove that. There's one where there's a group of students, they imagine that they're playing this keyboard piano piece, and they do that for a couple of weeks without ever touching keys, but they imagine that. And then when they get in front of the keyboard, in front of the piano, they're able to play the piece fairly well. There's all kinds of examples. And I've used it a lot when I, for example, thought, okay, I think I want to run when I hadn't run at all. It was first the thought to come to my mind. I think I want to do a 10K. And imagining that I could do it and seeing myself do it helped me to accomplish that. Then to a half marathon, then to a full marathon. It was before I could imagine that, it wasn't going to happen. I had to imagine that happening. And I encourage anyone that, like, you have an injury, if you had a stroke or you were sick and now you're unable, right now, maybe you're not able to even walk, right? Imagine, see yourself doing that activity. I use it all the time. When I broke my ankle last summer, imagining myself doing it, and to the point where my kids were, and my husband were, are you allowed to do that yet? And I wasn't being foolish. I was still following doctor care and orders, but I was progressing faster because I was imagining that I could do it. And I have certain things that I'm imagining right now. What about you? Do you have a few things that in your mind you're thinking, I could never do that? Yet other people, you see other people, it's like, well, if they could do it, maybe, I could do it, but no, I can't do it. Do you have a goal like that? If you do, there's something you want to do. And some of mine are silly. Like, I can't do a pull-up. A pull-up? I really want to do a full body weight pull-up. It's so incredibly hard. It's hard for a lot of women, but some women can do it. And it's really hard for me. I've never been able to do it. Now, at 58, what's the difference? If I never do it, who cares? But it's a goal. And I like having goals that I strive for. What about you? Do you want to be able to walk a half mile? Start to think of yourself as walking a half mile. Do you want to learn to swim? Start to think of yourself as swimming. Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Start to envision yourself losing that weight. So that's one, to envision yourself doing it. But two, and this is important, you have to practice, even in your mind, practice. So being consistent with that. And as doubt, which it will come, as doubt comes, you have to, and you can't keep a thought from coming. But what you can do is avoid basking in that. So you can say no and think another thought and practice using your imagination, using your mental vision, you doing it over and over and over and over again. So that's two, imagining it, but not just once. And no, continue to imagine. 3, do what you can. So, and invoke what it is that you can do right now. So I'm not just imagining, right? And then put no work behind it. I am actually, whatever work you can, because it may be limited what the work is that you can do. So I'm telling my students, some of my students, they can do a plank, but they cannot do a plank to a hover, not even on their knees. I'm telling them, imagine it while they're holding that plank. So if you had to do it on the wall, imagine you're doing it on, using the wall. Put action behind your intention. That's number 3. Put action behind your intention. And then number 4, you have to let God. You have to release it and let go of it. You envision it, you imagine it, you do that on a regular, you put some work behind it, you put some intention with it, and then you have to release it, because you have to just trust that you've done all that it is that you can do, and then the rest is not up to you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah. It's more than just a cliche to say. Believe it to achieve it. It's a real thing. And you, my friend, have greatness inside of you. I would love to hear what it is that you'd like to do and then support you with that. So share. You're listening to this live, or if you're listening to this on the comments, I forgot to bring my phone, and sometimes comments won't show up on the screen, and my phone, they'll have them. Or maybe you're not commenting today. And I know it's a holiday weekend, so everyone is doing their thing, which is great. But yeah, I want to hear what it is that you will envision that you would like to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet. And then making sure that you envision it consistently, you put some intention and work behind it. And after you've done what you can do, you release it and you let it go. You surrender to the process. All right. You have greatness inside of you. I believe in you, my friends. I love you. There's not a thing that you can do about it. Have an amazing weekend.